Golf. Here's Matt Hollinshead. He's one of our lead techs here at IFit Golf. And thanks for joining, guys. Really cool today. We have the new Great Big Bertha driver from Callaway. We're going to check that out, and you get an idea, a little picture there of it. And so Matt's going to hit some shots. We'll use TrackMan to get some data off of there. Also check it. Hey, Mike's joining us. Cool, Mike. So anyway, we're going to hit some shots, ask questions. That's another great thing about Periscope, which is really cool, is you can go ahead and ask us questions, you know, in this live format. So don't be afraid to do that. Also, if you're watching on the replay, thanks very much. You know, you can always tap the screen for hearts in the replay as well, because we're always looking for hearts. Anyway, real quick, before Matt hits some shots, what we're looking at is this Great Big Bertha. We're going to get a closer look of it. It's more of the everyday players club, if you will. It's not the double black diamond 816. This is the Great Big Bertha. So you don't have what do we say, more of a penetrating ball flight with this one, Matt. You're probably looking at something for the everyday player, most forgiving club.
Correct. Yeah, this driver is going to be for the everyday golfer. It still has the IFit hosel from last year's model. You got 8 different settings to really fine-tune loft, lie, and face angle adjustment. It still has from last year's Great Big Bertha the sliding weight. This is a 10-gram weight that you can really slide from fade to draw, but mostly for the draw setting. Most golfers have a tendency to hit the ball to the right, so this driver is really going to suit that player who is going to straighten out their drives a little bit easier. You
know, one thing I noticed compared to the last model's Big Bertha is the sliding port goes deeper into the draw bias. If you look up here on the toe setting, the track doesn't go up to the toe because most of these guys are looking at more draw, and so what Callaway did for this version is they made the slide go all the way down. It's a 10-gram weight that slides down here, so that can really sort of change ball flight. I think they said 19 degrees.
19 yards. So yeah, what they're able to do is take from the sliding port here and position a little bit more of the weight in certain positions to optimize certain ball flights.
Yeah, the other thing that they've done is this weight stays there. It's a permanent weight for CG control, center of gravity, where they can position that. But what they've done is they've made this club lighter overall. The crown is lighter, and they've been able to reposition weight for higher MOI, for more control. Remember, this is the club for players that are looking for more control.
Correct.
You know, the other cool thing about this club in the offerings, in their stock offerings, is 19 shaft options based on weight, essentially, for different swing speeds.
Correct. Yeah, there's 4 different stock shaft options based on weight, like Bobby said, but there's multiple different offerings, upgraded shafts at no extra charge, such as, you know, the Diamante White Bore,
nice,
the Aldila Rogue. So there's multiple options to really fit, you know, each and every player out there.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Once you hit some shots, we'll take a look and get a feel. You can give us some feedback on sound.
Yeah, let me just turn the TrackMan.
Yeah, we'll get the TrackMan going over here. And
so what I have here is, I got the Great Big Bertha. It's a 9-degree, and it has the new Speeder Evolution shaft. So this is built for maybe somebody who swings a little bit faster, a little bit heavier, looking for maybe a little bit more control. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this a few times and kind of give some feedback. First off the bat, I really like the head. It's got a nice matte gray finish. It's very appealing to the eye.
One thing, how's the sound? You know, a lot of times you equate feel and sound, and it comes off without that tingy, if you will. You know, so that
it wasn't so tingy. It had a, you know, really good kind of not muffled sound, but a really good, you know, sound when you hit it solid. So that was a really good one there. That was probably one of the best ones.
Get an idea. TrackMan numbers. I don't know if we can quite see. Yeah, it's a little blurry. I got that wide, that fisheye lens on there.
So let me go and hit one more with this, Bobby. So I hit that on the toe a little bit, but I didn't really feel a lot coming back to me, which is good. And I think the TrackMan kind of represents that, as far as it really didn't go off center. So Really, really forgiving driver.
You know, I know what they did with the MOI on this club is they really spread out the weights when they were able to minimize the track here, if you will. They were able to spread the MOI out so you get this maximum, you know, if you want to say total control, and that's where you felt like you didn't hit that one quite on the sweet spot.
Correct.
But you were still able to maintain some serious dispersion control
there.
there.
I could see that the ball speed really didn't drop, even though I hit it on the toe. You know, because of the weight position on the heel and toe, you're still going to get really, really good ball speeds and good smash factor on those heel and toe misses.
Well, that's the one thing about the thickness, the variable face thickness that Callaway's offered, and they've had it now for a couple years in their clubs, and you're able to get this ball speed without necessarily hitting it on the dead sweet spot all the time. So, yeah, definitely. Now, it seems to me that if you have it in the standard setting, this is important to note, if you have it in the standard setting, it's not necessarily a square driver, if you will. It's already a little bit, maybe a degree or two closed.
Correct. Yeah, since the driver is built for, you know, your everyday game improvement, you know, player, they really focus that attention on players that hit the ball to the right. So naturally, it does have a draw, you know, look to it. But since they still have this IFit hosel, you can, you know, keep that draw going. You can go up or down. You know, it's a 3-degree variable range on the loft. So you really have a lot of different adjustments to really fine-tune this driver for yourself.
So one of the questions came out is, if somebody wanted to draw the ball, and maybe they were a fader or a slicer, and they wanted to draw it more, would the first thing they do is change more of the slider, or would it be more of the face angle?
They probably want to focus a little bit more attention on the draw setting here. This 10-gram weight's going to have a little bit more of a contributor, to help with that fade than the draw setting on the hosel. The draw setting on the hosel is really just going to position that driver in a draw bias at address. It's not going to help with the draw through your swing. So for a player that slices or pushes the ball a little bit to the right, they want to focus their attention on moving this 10-gram weight to the heel of the club here, and that's going to obviously reduce the amount of side spin that you're going to put on the ball.
And so, and when it says draw, a lot of times, you know, you would think that the average golfer all of a sudden assumes that they hit a slice, but it says draw, that they're going to start hitting draws.
Correct.
That's not necessarily the case. It's going to reduce side spin. So, you know, if you have some crazy wicked slice of a lot of side spin, it's going to minimize that versus all of a sudden expectations of drawing.
Exactly,
right?
exactly, yeah.
You know,
just going to minimize it a little bit. It's not going to cure, obviously, a draw, but it's just definitely going to help with that side spin, correct?
Yeah, and the other thing about the great big Bertha and compared to what they had before is the lightness in the crown. You know, it makes the club overall lighter.
Correct.
Lighter club, faster club speeds, more distance, correct?
Correct, yeah. This is a forged composite head, kind of a nice, really matte black finish. So because it's forged composite, it's really, really lightweight. So I've seen, you know, through testing here just by myself, gain a couple miles an hour in swing speed, which could equivalent to, you know, 6 to 10 yards on the golf course.
And so this great big Bertha, they're looking at about, I think, middle August release date on this club.
Correct. You can pre-order this on 14th of August, and then they're going to start shipping them on the 28th, so just a couple weeks away.
And then the double black diamond, the Alpha 816, is about another month away. Is that right? We're looking at
beginning of September, correct?
Beginning of September,
yeah.
And that might be a little bit more designed for faster club speeds or higher trajectories. What do you think that's?
Yeah, they're going to have the same shaft offering, so there's no change there. But the head's a little bit different. So with those two, you know, just a preview of the new double black diamond, they're going to have 2 weight ports here with the gravity core, which is a system they developed where you can change the spin rate without changing the loft in your launch conditions.
Gotcha. Speaking of changing, do you have a wrench close by? We'll take a look and maybe we'll see what we can got. You know, everybody's always curious or afraid to change.
So for the average golfer, the position right now is really kind of a neutral position when you get it from your local store. But for the average golfer, they're going to position this 10-gram weight towards the draw setting. And that's going to obviously help with that side spin that makes the ball go from left to right. So if I were to position this in the draw setting, and just it's a torque wrench, so just one click and you're done, this is going to kind of promote a little bit straighter ball flight for the people that hit the ball from left to right.
And that's because the heel of the club is slowing down with that weight, allowing the toe to close over.
Exactly.
Correct?
Correct. Yeah, and that 10-gram weight you'd think wouldn't be a big factor, but since the club is a little bit lighter than last year, it does contribute to that, helping out that fade. And then vice versa, this is going to be maybe for the maybe more advanced golfer that likes the look of this club. Since they can't position it all the way on the toe of the club, they're going to position this, and I got a little bit jammed there.
When you have a weight like this, can you change this during the round of golf in a tournament if you're not feeling so good, or do you have to, what's the rule on that?
You cannot. So once you position it at the start of the round, you have to keep that setting throughout the round. You cannot change that. So if I were to change this, again, this is going to a fade setting, more for the the advanced golfer who really likes the look of this club. We can't go all the way to the fade setting up here like the previous model, but we can position this really in the center of the club to the back, and this is really going to promote more of a left to right ball flight, or maybe that someone that has a tendency to draw the ball. In this setting, they're going to be able to hit it a little bit straighter.
So that's probably what you're looking at there, is a better player who likes the look, likes the feel, likes the performance. The club is already set up kind of closed in its standard position, so you'd probably want to set that up in a little bit more of a fade bias to straighten out their shots.
Correct.
Is that what we're talking
about?
Exactly,
Yeah.
Good deal. Hey, all right, guys, thanks for joining us. This is the Callaway Great Big Bertha. The Great Big Bertha is back from Callaway. And if it performs anything like last year's Big Bertha, is a little bit of an upgrade. You guys are in for a good treat, and we'll come back at you tomorrow with some more reviews, topics, anything related to golf. There's one last look at the Callaway Great Big Bertha. All right, guys, thanks.
Thank you.